anyways, I'm the captain of District 1, and what that encompasses is Mount Adams, Pendleton, over the Rhine, and the West End. So the bulk of my violence, of course, is in the West End and over the Rhine. When you talk about the West End is a very big community, and it's real, if you're familiar with, was it Lynn Street and Central Parkway and 8th Street, it's really kind of almost 3 different neighborhoods, and then unfortunately, it seems that way at times in different community meetings and so forth. But the violence in the West End seems to be more toward the Liberty and Lynn up to Central Parkway, Dayton Street, Livingston, York. So the bulk of my shootings and so forth are in that area. Of course, over the Rhine has seen some gentrification going on there, so it's a real balancing act with just the work that's been going on there over the years with 3CDC and the displacement of homeless individuals in low-income housing and things like that. So as a commander, it's truly a balancing act to listen to all of those different perspectives. But I grew up in Lower Price Hill. I come from the 8th and State area, so I grew up there. So I certainly know what it's like to be from the inner city and see that the changes that go on. So when I look at problem solving, and I learned from Maris here, who is a nationally known expert in problem solving, so you'll see her name if you do start going through it. But I learned a lot from my time when we first met on the floor there, so the work she's done. But anyway, so when she's right, we have a very small number of people that commit the violence in this city, very small. And again, she said it, the places, the very small number of places. So when you look at there's a crime triangle. You can imagine a triangle. You have the place on top, the offender, and the victim. And all of those kind of go in a circle together. If you remove one, you're not going to have the other type of thing. So from the victim perspective, we have the homeless person who is robbed consistently and just, for different various reasons. One, he's passed out, or just gets his check and people know it, his friends, his so-called friends know it, he's being robbed, being victimized that way. So you have the offender, then you have the location. So when you're looking at locations, it's why. Why this location? So my calls for service within a month, my top locations are 30 East Liberty, which is the Shell gas station down on Liberty Street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And 1420 Vine Street, which is the Kroger. And it's not shoplifting, it's all the stuff, the drug dealing, all the activity that goes around in that area. So if you think about it, how close those two locations are in your mind, 30 East Liberty and 1420 Vine Street are very close to one another. So you can almost imagine a V there. That's in my mind how I address it when I talk about strategy. But it's, again, these small locations, I'm talking street corners, where heroin sales, prostitution, all of that is going on in these locations. So why? And it goes back to these guardians of these places. Who is managing these buildings? Why? Maris talked about having calls to your house. How many people here, probably 95% of the people in here have never had the police called to their house. It's an anomaly to have the police come to your house or to your business. It just is. So when you look at these locations that have this inordinate amount of calls for service, that's where you're again, tax-paying dollars, that's where it's going, and why. So when we can focus our resources, and I focus my time on those locations with the active community members around, then we can address those. So currently, one of the problems I'm dealing with is at 1420 Vine, we had a shooting, and you guys can imagine Main Street, which is very safe. I mean, statistically, it is a safe location. But 1420 Vine, a guy has a gun, he's walking down the street, and he sees a guy that owes him money from a drug debt. He sees it and he just starts shooting at him, right at 14th and Vine in front of Kaze. Well, of course, at that point, you're getting calls from the city manager, the mayor, everyone wants to know what's going on. So looking at that, calling all the partners together, Kroger, 3CDC, the Faith Alliance, the ministers that are in the area, all of those people together, St. Joseph's Church, the owner of 30 East Liberty Shell Station, all those people together at a meeting about what we need to do to address it. And what we've done is come away with cameras on top of the Kroger location, a security guard hired for the parking lot, 3CDC moving barricades. So it's just this moving parts to all of this that everyone is doing. It's not just the police's job or responsibility to alleviate crime and violence. It truly takes the entire community, business community, the people that live there, everybody to do that. So when you look at violent crime, that's what we have to do. Our violent crime specifically, I think, is mostly male, are offenders